Hi, this is Bonnie, and today for DiesRUs, I am going to use one of the dies that I've had that I've been wanting to do that's been in my stash. It's from Creative Expressions. It's a paper cuts craft die, and this one is called Toadstool Dance Edger. This one is still in DiesRUs, even though it's been, my understanding, it's been discontinued. So if you've already purchased it, maybe this will give you an idea of what to do with what you have, or if you're still wanting to get it, it is in the store. So this is an edger die, which means the one end of it is continuous. So, and I have a die, or a die cutting machine, that's not really wide, if I want to say it that way. So I wanted to show you what I'm planning to do. I'm gonna color mine, and I'm gonna be using Kraft paper. But because I want this to go around and then the inside to be a different color, I want to do it on the Kraft paper like this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to cut it because it ends right here, but I just wanted to center it for when I do it. But here's the deal, which I'm going to try to do to get around the fact that I can't go the other direction with my paper, is I put it on this way, but what I did is I folded my paper in half, like it would be a card, and wrapped it around the back of my plate, and then I'm just going to die cut it this way and see how that turns out, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's check it out and see if this worked. And it looks like it did, and like I said, this is an edger die. I don't want to mess that up too terribly bad, which means I'm going to go ahead and cut this part back across, you know, I'm going to cut the card so that it's even with these little lines at the top, but it's going to work out fine. It didn't do any damage to the other part of me running it through, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off and start coloring. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what I meant, is I cut that right at the top of where that cut was, at the top and the bottom, and then I'm just going to pull that edger piece away. I don't need that. And then I can put whatever I want to back behind here to highlight that. But for right now, I mean, you can see how it would be, you know, a card like that. And this part right here pops up, and there's some parts right here I need to weed out. But I'm going to go ahead and color this part right here. And I'll pull out my Prismacolor pencils, and I'll speed that up for you. so we've got the coloring all done, and it's just a matter of finishing off the card. And so I know behind I'm going to be putting a paper behind there, and I think this side over here I am going to be doing some inking. So that's the plan. I might possibly, depending on how it looks against the paper, I might even cut this out one more time out of brown just to give it a highlight. We'll see how that looks once I get the paper behind it. Okay, so my next step is I'm going to be doing some masking, and I'm going to put a moon on here with, I'm going to be using chipped sapphire, and that's going to be the halo that I'm going to be using on here. Now you have to remember that craft paper responds differently in terms of color showing up. Obviously, the lighter the color, the more it is probably going to show up in terms of the designs on here. So the chipped sapphire is going to show, but it's not going to be, you know, the typical way it would look on white paper. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit more down here, I think. I just didn't really want to get the wing in there. Okay, that looks a little bit better. So, and I'm going to go ahead and do some clouds. And my clouds are going to be with, I'm going to try Tumbled Glass because it's a little bit lighter. I'm going to see what happens. I might have to come back in with a different color, but we'll give it a try. And I've got a piece, just to let you know, to protect the inside of that in case I decide to use it. I've put a piece of paper in between. So as I go, even if I go through the vines there, it really won't matter because it won't go to the back. But I really plan to put something else back there. Let's just see. I want to see if this, yep, this is going to show up. It's going to be very light, but it's going to show up. We'll see how that looks. If I have to come back in with something else, I might. It's not showing up the way that I'd like it to. It's too light. Okay, well, it's a good test. It's good to see how things are going to go, how things are going to work on there. So, I'm going to be going with, I'm going to try Prize Ribbon. It's a little brighter. It's not as dark as chipped sapphire, but it has a dark hue to it. So we'll give that a try instead. Yeah, that's going to show. There we go. It's not quite as dark. It's a little bit, to me, more moody. I don't know why I say that, but to me it's a bit more moody. And it's kind of weird going over the vines, but the vine for this, the color would be behind. So we'll just see how that goes. I think that's going to be fine. Now for this, I don't really want to get the wings, but I'm going to do as best I can going around them. Okay. I'll get that little bit there. And I am going to put the green, I think, at the bottom because that's where the vine starts. But this is working. It almost looks like the chipped sapphire. But it's, I don't know, it's got more of a brighter blue cast, a little bit. And the reason I kept my card folded is I didn't want the inking on the back side. Okay, let's see how far down. We're going to go a little bit further. Yep. I think I'm just going to have a tad bit of green down there. Okay. So I've got that all on there so you can see what that looks like. I just need to grab my green real quick. I'm going to go with Mowed Lawn because I think that's like the hue in which we're doing right now. So I usually go the opposite direction when I do the bottom. I wasn't really sure about the color. I wanted to go with Peel Paint, but I think it was going to be too bright. And this will be a little bit darker. It'll blend in more with the bottom. Yeah, so that works better. Okay, so I want to come back in for the top. I think I'm going to try the Tumbled Glass again, just because I don't want it to be really noticeable, but I don't want it to be the brown. Just want to be subtle. So that works. Okay, so we've got the front the way that I plan to do with the inking, and then we have to decide what we're going to do on the inside. Okay, so I think I have things figured out how I want to finish off this card. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting this brown piece of paper behind this so that I have a little bit more, so it shows up a little bit more. That's the plan. And then what I did is I actually pulled back out pieces that were cutouts, fallouts, because I'm going to put those back into the picture. For instance, like I'm going to be doing the mushroom there, but I'm going to color them. So, and then I'll put them in, but before that I'm going to attach the brown so it has something to adhere to. So I'm going to go ahead and get that all together and I'll be back. Okay, so I wanted to show you, I wanted to show you which pieces I was going to be putting back in and which ones I colored. So I told you like the mushroom, and I tried to color it the same as the one that I colored earlier, so you know basically how I colored that. And then there's just a few pieces from the greenery and the belly of the frog. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back in. It has a little bit like of a puzzle piece, so it kind of stands out a little bit. And then this is the stem to the mushroom. The pieces weren't, I mean, they're easy, they're not really teeny tiny, so they were easy to identify when you cut them out. I had not saved them, I had actually thrown them in the trash, so I had to dig them out of the, I just have a Kraft, little teeny tiny Kraft paper basket, so it wasn't that big of a deal pulling them out. So, and not only that, but they're not that hard. I mean, if I wanted to just cut and fussy cut a die, which means I just cut a little piece and then I put it over the spot that I want to cut out, I don't cut the entire die out again if I need just a little piece. And sometimes it's worth doing that than to try to find the pieces that you're missing in the trash. So this part right here is the foliage part. I'm trying to get in. And that's there. And there's a little piece up here at the top. And this is probably the skinniest piece actually to put back, but it was easy to identify because of the curl on it when I was looking for it. But again, if you know you're doing that ahead of time, it's a lot easier. You just save it when you take your die off the... I'm trying to get this in. Okay. I knew this one was going to be a little bit harder because it's more fine. And I want it to fit into there. Okay. I think I need my paper piercer just to get that one piece down there a little bit. I think it's going to be just like that. All right, so then the belly of the frog. It could be a toad. I made him a frog. To me, he looked like a frog, but the name of this is called Toadstool, and I made him a frog. All right, so I wanted his eyes to stand out a little bit, and I did use my black Prismacolor pencil, but I decided I'm going to try my Copic multi-liner and just color in the center of that. I think it'll give the depth a little bit better. I had considered putting gems, but the gems would have had to have been really tiny. So, and I'm still considering adding the mouth. I'm not really sure. I would have to fussy because I've already thrown my trash away. So, and I might do that. I might make a very light pink mouth for him. But that's what it looks like. And I make sure you don't glue the wings down when you go to add this backing to it. So now it's just like, you know, a regular card. So that's the project for today. Like I said, I might add a little bit. I might cut that out and color it white. But I'll cut it out of the craft paper so it all works out. So thanks so much for stopping by. I will have the information in the description below. Like I said, as of right now, this die is available in DiesRUs, and I know that it's from another store. It has been discontinued. So it's really fun to color any of these. And they all come, as you can see, the example is white. So you can do them white, you can do them black, and put a color background. So you don't have to color them. So again, like I said, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you again next week.